a complete warning. Some of the images you're about to see may be disturbing. So if you have small children by you, you may want to put them up to the side, cover their eyes. You want to know something? One of the most disappointing and insane situations that we have going on here in this country right now is the fact that the Democrat Party takes every tragedy that involves a you boom boom and a little person and a Christian and use it to create this uproar for control of weapons. When at the end of the day, it has very little, if anything, to do with the actual piece of plastic or metal. I've never seen a piece of plastic or metal jump up and activate itself and harm anybody, ever. But what I have seen is deranged, radicalized, insane thinking people get their hands on them and utilize them. Now, what that means is that the fact that the government is always trying to, let me not even say the government, the Democrats are always trying to take away a person's right to bear arms. They act as if the deranged, insane, and radicalized criminals give a damn about that. They're already criminals. So they're already violating the law. So it's not like they're going to say, oh, you know what, y'all? They got a new thing going. And so guess we got to lay them down. No, I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan before leaving to go off to college. And do you know what criminals will say under those conditions? They will get their bibs. You know, the cartoons where the like the little piglets is coming in the house and the fox is acting like it's the mama piglet. And when they go to bed, the cartoon stops with the wolf tying his bib on, holding a fork and knife, ready to eat. That's exactly how the criminals act when they hear about this crap. They're sitting there saying, yes, Democrats, keep selling it because all the criminals are going to get rich. Now, let's take this situation out in Minneapolis, right? We heard about this unfortunate situation with these children at a Christian school. Now, notice something, that of all of these situations that have arisen at these Christian schools with little children that are they're learning, have you noticed the common thread amongst most, if not all, of the people that have gone in doing the harm? They've been radicalized. You notice they don't release the manifestos. They found a manifesto on that other on that one trans person who did that BS in that little kid's school. They never publicized it, never released it. Now in this video, yeah, I'm gonna show you this article, but I'm gonna show you who this individual was, this deranged individual, and I'm also gonna show you video clips of exactly how radicalized these people are. This person is, and this isn't just one. He is one of a few. I don't believe there's many that are this deranged at all. But the Democrats, with their talking about Hitler and the destruction of democracy and all of this BS, they've taken weak-minded and easily susceptible people who were already weak already. The fact that they even follow that party, they're weak-minded. And I have people that I love in my own family that follow that party. But the fact that they're unwilling to look at the facts and want to keep going off feelings, I can't rock with that. That's insanity. You know the definition, to do the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Now, when we look at data under Democrat rule, things get destroyed. Things get obliterated. People say, oh, Bill Clinton, he had a great term, presidency. Look at that economic surplus. He also signed the NAFTA deal that lost the United States 91,000 factories and the millions of jobs that were all shipped overseas. While the fat cats and the lobbyists got rich, the American people lost work to China, to Taiwan, all this crap that led to the BS that we in, that President Trump is fixing right now with these tariffs. And if you're not familiar with what NAFTA is the North Atlantic Free Trade Alliance. That's where Bill Clinton said, hey, guys, you know what? Yeah, free trade, except for we're over there getting tariffed up and they're over there trading here free. Now, do you think the United States president would have done that, giving away everything for America, letting the other countries come on in without somebody getting fat? So it makes that surplus look a little bit weak, right? Knowing that everything was given away and helped lead us to the spot that we're in right now. But this video ain't about that. Matter of fact, let me just lead into this and then I'll get into the video clip. So this article, it says Minneapolis school attacker obsessed with the idea of harming little people. And the only reason I'm not saying the actual words, you know how YouTube is, officials say. So let me introduce you to this individual. Well, first, before I even show you who they are, let's listen to the mayor of Minneapolis as he kicks this off, making a mockery of prayer. Check this out.
These were Minneapolis families These were American families. And the amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church. These are kids that should be learning with their friends. They should be playing on the playground. They should be able to go to school or church in peace without the fear or risk of violence, and their parents should have the same kind of assurance. These are the sort of basic assurances that every family should have, every step of the day, regardless of where they are in our country.
Is it me, or can you just tell how fake and disingenuous this person is? What difference does it make whether they were praying or not? A deranged, insane, radicalized transgender came in and took their lives. Period. No matter how they're trying to spin it. See, they're trying to spin it because they know they support this trans movement. And guess what these trans people get? Medication. If you're enjoying this video, do me a solid. Hit that thumbs up, because I will never ask you for a cash app or a super chat. You hitting that like button, that's enough. It helps get the information out there. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And then once you do, and that's whether you're subscribed already or subscribing now, make sure that you check the notifications and then select all, because YouTube has been having an issue with getting them out. But when you select all, it just increases the likelihood that you'll be notified when I upload new videos. All types of blockers. And later in the video, you're going to hear Robert Kennedy's going to address that. As a matter of fact, this incident has just opened up Pandora's box on what's actually in the medication. Because like I said earlier, the last few big rahs have been transgender, radicalized, insane people that hate Christians. Now, this whole thing, attack on Christians, this started under the Bidens. Do you know most people don't even know that under the Biden administration, they after Trump was out and they were in, they literally contacted the banks, the financial institutions, to have them give the government information about who was in DC and who bought Bibles and who bought, and you know what those go in, and also those. They literally queried that information. Now, why would they want to know who bought Bibles and who bought bullets? Why is that important? But this is real. And so this attack on Christians, or even the thought of God and Jesus, do you know, I just found out that in record industry contracts, it has lines in it that says that you can't say the name Jesus.
You literally almost signed to Polo G's record label.
I heard millions in it. I was just planning on going there and signing it. But I'm with one of my old cameramen at the time.
And were you in the world this time?
Yeah, I was in the world. Yeah. Yeah, this is secular music. It's not even Christian music, not even a thought about Christian. I'm there, I'm looking through the deal, I'm just skimming through it. So then my homeboy grabbed it. He like, oh, let me just, before you sign, bro, let me just look through it real quick, bro. It's like he knew where the page was or something. He was just flipping, bro. He like, stop. He was like, bro, you ain't read this? I said, read what? The thing said, you could not say the name Jesus. It didn't say God.
Wow.
It said, you cannot say the name Jesus. I forgot what else. It said, it was like a threat in there. So they'll basically say like they know your family, where they live at. Stuff that's in those like dotted lines that we will not read, but it's literally them saying like, if you say the name of Jesus, you're gonna die, or something gonna happen to you.
So if anybody has a question on whether that name has some power or some impact, why would these elite people that make all of this money be so terrified of the use of that name? Now, this whole situation in Minneapolis, as unfortunate as it is, it seems like they love to start setting these things up at these Catholic churches, these Catholic or Christian schools. And ironically, it's little children. You know why? Because it pulls on the public's heartstrings. But they're so deranged, they don't realize, do you really think it's going to make people want to give up their right to bear arms when you got people out here running around like that? I have children and grandchildren. Do you believe that I wouldn't do everything I could to protect them with the resources that I have within my reach, whatever they are? So now let me introduce you to the individual. This is the individual right here. The Minnesota Catholic School Power has been identified as Robin Westman, a self-identified transgender male. So a woman, you get what I'm saying? So, and the last one was a woman, supposedly a man, but born a woman. So let me make sure I don't get off in all that. I'm not going to refer to a man born as a man as a woman. I'm not going to refer to a woman born as a woman as a man. So both of these people who did these ridiculous things were both women. And for whatever reason, they lost their mind. But now I want to show you the footage of this individual, and just a complete warning. Some of the images you're about to see may be disturbing. So if you have small children by you, you may want to put them up to the side, cover their eyes, but no, big profanity, but the visuals. So check this out.
9mm go bang. I'm the woker, baby. Why so curious? Where's your fucking God now? Shit. Skibbity Riz.
Okay, now watching that video, I'm not sure if you're familiar or not, but you ever heard of the phrase Manchurian candidate? Now, in Manchurian candidates, what they do, government has programs where they would literally psychologically reprogram this individual, break them down to the point where they can literally plant seeds into this individual's subconscious, and have this individual go out and perform acts. I mean, acts that where their own life could be taken, but they're programmed to be willing to go do it. Now, how do people with no criminal backgrounds, never been arrested before, have never been in trouble, elevate from regular person to walking into a school and doing acts like that? I'm from the streets. That does not happen. It's a gradual workup. Nobody wakes up and just goes out. That's not how it works unless you are deranged, radicalized, or reprogrammed. And so you can clearly see this individual has words written on his weaponry, filming it. Who, knowing they're about to do an act like that, would film it with all of that evidence showing that it's them? Unless the person knew that they wouldn't be alive anymore. So that's the question. Think about this now. It's not about all the news and all of that stuff. A person that's going to do an act that expects to do it and get away, it's not going to do all this filming and leave all of this evidence around with all this writing and everything that could be easily assessed and linked back to them. That's not a deranged and mentally challenged and reprogrammed person who does not care, who knows that they're not going to live after that. They would do it unless they were programmed to also just not care and to do it. Either which way, I highly encourage you, if you've never before, research Manchurian program. Research that. That was real. And it was also something they turned into a movie. They did it like in the 60s, and then Denzel Washington remade it. And when you see what happens in that movie, you think about John Lennon. You think about this. Pay attention to that. Now, in this name, matter of fact, let me go back to the picture just to give you a picture of this lady who grew her hair out and started taking testosterone. As you can see, she even has a beard, right? Now, in this next clip, Robert Kennedy is in with a group of reporters, and he's going to bring up what the program plan is next and exactly how these people being transgender, like what's with that? Check this clip out.
I certainly consider MASH a health crisis, and we are doing for the first time real studies to find out what the etiology of that is. And we're looking for the first time at psychiatric drugs. You know, these kind of MASH, people have had guns in this country forever. When I was a kid, we had shooting clubs at our school. People, kids, my classmates, other people would bring a .22 rifle with their guns to school and park it in the parking lot. Nobody was shooting. So there's never been a time in America, in the history of humanity, and people walked into a crowd, into a church or a movie theater or a school or a crowd of strangers and just started randomly. It's happening in our country. It's not happening around the world. And there are many other countries that have comparable levels of that we have in this country. We had comparable levels in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and people weren't doing that. Something changed, and it dramatically changed human behavior. And one of the culprits we need to examine is whether the fact that we are the most over-medicated nation in the world, and that a lot of those are psychiatric drugs that have black box warnings on them that warn of suicidal and homicidal ideation. So we are doing those studies right now for the first time, and we will have an answer.
Now think about that for a second. He's right. People have weapons, especially in America. I mean, think about the Wild West. And I can remember when I was even growing up, friends of mine's dads would take them. They had their own little rifles and all types of stuff. I remember that. My dad just wasn't into it. For us, we lived in Detroit, so you didn't want your child walking around like that. You get in trouble because it was dangerous. The police see you, you might get swept up. But in people I knew that lived out in the country, farmlands, or even rural parts of Michigan when I was growing up, or just whose fathers were ex-military police or just were enthusiasts and would take their sons out to go do practice or take their daughters out. I've taken my daughter to the range. But like he said, never before in our history, like we have in these last, 5, maybe 10 years, people just going out, taking them and just think about the jab. I'm so thankful I never got it. My children never got it. Well, I have one son that's in the military, and he didn't even get in until after that. But, they probably forced that crap in him. But, I know they did. But my other two children, no. My grandchildren, no. I was even able to talk to my mother. She did. But I say all that to say this. We do have to start paying attention to what's inside of these things that people are putting in their bodies. It's insane what's happening. So that's what RFK said. Now, check out what the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, had to say about the mockery that the Democrats have been using against prayer, and what Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, had to say, how despicable it was. Check this clip out.
Gavin Newsom decided to throw a tweet up yesterday that's getting a whole lot of attention, essentially implying that prayer doesn't work. He said, quote, these children were literally praying as they got shot at. And that was in response to a clip of Caroline Levitt saying that people should believe in the power of prayer. That now has almost 7 million views online, and it has enraged conservatives. Your thoughts?
It should enrage conservatives. Gavin Newsom is ridiculous. He's become a caricature of something. I don't have words to respond to that. I cannot believe that he's gone that low to get attention, and that's what this is about.
Gavin Newsom decided to throw.
So as you heard, Gavin Newsom, Caroline Levitt, the press secretary for President Trump, was saying, hey, thoughts and prayers. And Gavin Newsom decides to tweet. Hey, they were literally praying. And you heard the Minneapolis mayor earlier say, hey, they were praying. They keep stressing the fact that the kids were praying. The children were praying. They were praying. So prayer doesn't work. Why are they pushing so hard for people to stop that? And see, hopefully the world, especially the American public, opens their eyes. I call them demon rats for a reason. It's not just because it's a cool play on the Democrat name. This party is demonic. They want to mutilate children's bodies. They hate Christians. They dislike any type of positivity. They love criminals. That's why we have sanctuary cities like chaos and disorder. Think about the Democrat cities: Chicago, New York City, San Francisco, LA, Baltimore. I can go on and on and on. New Orleans, Minneapolis. These aren't ran by Republican mayors and Republican-led city councils. Not even majority state Senate Republicans. It's not. It's because the way that these Democrats have been able to push this line is because they don't care about just going crazy against the rules and then accusing the other side of disregarding the rules when they realize, damn, they're not going to stop. So we're going to have to play this way. And when their own tactics are used in return or in response, they're like, oh, look at the Republicans. I can't believe that they're violating this. I can't believe. Think about the redistricting maps. Now, when you look at these states with those maps, they are so gerrymandered. It's not even funny. I had never known that it was that bad myself till I looked and I said, how would this even get through? Till you learn how many state senators they have. It may be a Republican governor, but if it's dominated by the opposing party's state senators and state congressional members, nothing gets done. If everything is within a 5 or a 2 vote and you need a majority, nothing gets done. So it makes it look like, oh, in the red states, oh, they're doing it bad. No, is that the way that the states are or block it off and district it is that they put them in they really condense it to an area. And when I say this has nothing to do with race at all or gender. This is all about ideology. And when I say ignorance, that means lacking information. They condense it to areas where they know the people aren't reading about what's really going on, staying up to snuff with what's happening. They know it. So they do it in majority low income areas, highly dense, and just chop them up into a whole bunch of mini districts. And in the areas where people may have more resources, better education, be more informed, they're not going to cut those up into districts. Those just become one big piece. You can't have too many districts of intelligent people that can have influence. You see what I'm saying? Because anybody that's intelligent could look at this. It's not, you don't have to be the smartest person in the world, but you also don't have to be the dumbest person in the world to look and say, y'all, I don't understand how anybody can support what the Democrats do or stand for. Like, please explain to me how any of this benefits anybody in America, maybe besides trans or, you know what I'm saying, the LGBTQ, or illegal immigrants. But for Americans, it's just not working. So I know I said I was going to get back into that article, but after looking at those clips and whatnot, I think, speaking about this and what happened, I'm not a big person that likes to share negative energy. It's a sad situation, and thoughts and prayers. As a matter of fact, if you don't mind, I just want to, send a little prayer out for the people, the families, and everybody involved right now. So if you would with me, here we go. Most High God, I pray that you bless the families of those injured, those who were witnesses, and those who were just impacted by what happened in Minneapolis. I pray for those families, specifically for the friends and family members of those families. I pray for the people who just have a kind and good giving heart that just care and have compassion. And that's for those all around the country. So we send our love, our heart, and our condolences out to those people. And we ask that you continue to watch over and bless them. Thank you, God. So I just wanted to do that. Hope it didn't offend you. That's not my intention. But in a situation like this, rather than just spew all the negative crap, I want to give a shout out to the Most High, because 2 is too many, but luckily it wasn't more, if that makes sense. All right. So I appreciate you for hanging out. If you watched up to this point, thank you from the top and bottom of my heart. If you haven't already, hit that like button. And if you aren't subscribed, subscribe. Most importantly, make sure that you stay safe and you be great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.